League of Legends has without a doubt been one of the most successful and popular games in the world since its launch all the way back in October of 2009. And since its debut into esports in June of 2011, the game has only grown into an even bigger sensation. Nowadays, nearly a decade after its initial release, League of Legends is still a masterpiece of a game, capable of reeling in an average of 80 million active players every single month and 27 million players online at any given time. And that's just the player base. As for the viewership, statistics show that the 2017 League of Legends World Championship maintained an average of 14.7 million viewers, whilst entertaining 43 million unique viewers overall. With all of that being said, it becomes quite difficult to deny the fact that League of Legends is a fantastic game that has been able to gain and maintain the hearts of millions. However, everything that goes up must come down, and despite all of the upsides, it's hard to ignore all the downsides of the game as well. What's going on, Nasty Nation? It's Nasty, and in today's video, I'm going to be single-handedly answering the question, should you play League of Legends? So, should you play League of Legends? Well, let's start with the basics by asking yourself the simple question, is League your type of game to begin with? League of Legends is a multiplayer online battle arena, otherwise known as a MOBA. A MOBA is a subgenre of strategy video games that originated as a subgenre of real-time strategy in which a player controls a single character and a team who compete versus another team of players. The objective is to destroy the opposing team's main structure with the I think you get the point. It's a strategy game at its core. It's not a first-person shooter, it's not an open world, it's not a role-playing game, it's a team-based MOBA that not only requires you to outplay your opponent, but also outthink them. If that doesn't sound like something you're interested in, then League may not be the game for you. But if it does, then be sure to stick around to see what else this game has in store for you. Next up, I want to address the patience that revolves around League of Legends. Now, you don't exactly need to have patience in order to play the game, but it certainly would help. Game times can be fairly long, queue times can be a bore, getting a decent grasp of the game takes time, learning the ins and outs of 130 plus champions doesn't come quickly, and climbing the ranked ladder is an entirely different process that takes a whole lot of patience, but I'll go more in depth on that topic specifically later on in the video. The point that I'm trying to make here is that patience will prove to be a valuable asset in League of Legends, while also making it less appeasing to some players. Just something to take into account when considering whether or not this is the game for you. Before we get into more of the major topics, let's keep it going with the minor issues that may factor in whether or not you should play League of Legends. So if you have been involved in the League of Legends community at all over the course of the last few years, then you may have at some point in time heard the claim, League is dead. Now, we can't sit back and deny the fact that League is not the dominant game it once was, but we also can't jump to the conclusion and say League is dead. In fact, League is far from dead. If anything, it's in a relatively good spot. Yes, the players and the views may be down slightly, but that's to be expected of any game that has been out for as long as League has been out. Most games this old would be lucky to still maintain half of the player base that League has. Anyways, you may be asking yourself, why does any of this matter? Well, the truth is, it can be quite difficult to get into a stale, older game compared to a new game that has just hit the shelf stores. Let's take a look at Fortnite, for example. Fortnite has done a tremendous job of growing its community in recent months through introducing new skins, game modes, and partnering with content creators to help promote the game. The fact that Fortnite is a new game with all of these new features is very enticing, and thus they are seeing so much success. On the contrary, League, being an older game, doesn't have the same luxury. Sure, they still pump out new content here and there, but at this point in the game's timeline, that seems to be less of a priority. That doesn't mean that it's not a good game or not as good as a game as something like Fortnite, but it definitely makes it slightly harder to jump on the League bandwagon. Next up, I want to talk about what I believe to be the biggest deciding factor when it comes to figuring out if you should play League of Legends. Now, I understand I may come off as just straight up dramatic when I say this, but League of Legends is an emotionally exhausting game. Don't get me wrong, League is the most entertaining, strategic, exciting, intriguing, and overall fun game that I've ever touched. I've easily spent hundreds upon hundreds of hours just grinding away without a hint of exhaustion or boredom, but such an investment can often result in frustration, anger, and sorrow, and I've narrowed these negative emotions into 3 areas: Teamplay, Toxicity, and Ranked Play. First up, Teamplay. If you have ever played a team-based game, that you would understand just how easy it is to get frustrated over a teammate's poor play, and League is no exception to that. League is a 5v5 game, which means at all time you will need to be relying on 4 other random players to work together in order to come out victorious. and even then that's assuming of course that all of your teammates decide to play out the entire game rather than sitting AFK in base. But regardless of the situation, the point is you're going to have to work together, and that's not an easy task. Mistakes happen, bad games happen, bad calls happen, lack of synergy happens, bad internet happens, and in these times, frustration happens. Before I even begin on the topic of toxicity, I wanted to first show you guys a quick little video. Take a look.
My only real experience with a video game community would be League of Legends. And I think everyone knows how that goes. I don't think Keith does.
Yep.
So League of Legends is well known for being just the worst group of people. Just so
they're
bad.
just like a meme.
Oh yeah, you show up and you're like, hey guys, I downloaded this game because it seems like fun, and then it's immediately just like, oh my god, you should kill yourself. You should get cancer and die.
But like, why do you like that?
You just put it on mute. You just don't talk to anyone.
But you like the game, but not the people.
The game's fun.
The people suck.
People are horrible.
Oh god.
Now when talking about League of Legends and the League of Legends community, it's hard to not address the elephant in the room that is the toxicity. We live in a day and age in which such behavior is to be expected when it comes to competitive online gaming, and League is no exception. League of course is not the only toxic gaming community out there, but it has been argued by many, including me, to be the worst. When playing League, you can expect to hear some pretty awful things in your games, and if you don't think that's something you want to deal with, then I would recommend staying away from League entirely, or competitive games entirely in general. Then again, there is a mute option in League of Legends, so if you can remember to do that every single game, then you could possibly disregard this problem for the most part. Ranked is an entire different scenario that often has similar results. If you're already familiar with how the ranked ladder works in League of Legends, then feel free to click ahead to the time shown on the screen right now, but for those of you who aren't, allow me to put into perspective just how frustrating the ranked system can be. League's ranked ladder is split into 7 divisions. In order from worst to best, it goes Bronze, Silver, Gold, Platinum, Diamond, Master, and finally Challenger. From Bronze through Diamond, these subdivisions are labeled as 5 through 1, with 5 being the worst rank. Masters and Challenger, on the other hand, are ranked according to an individual's league points, otherwise known as LP. The higher the LP, the higher the rank. For example, if somebody has 50 LP, they would be ranked lower than somebody who has 75 LP. On top of that, the 200 best players with the highest LP in the region would be considered Challenger rather than Master. Altogether, the ranking system goes Bronze 5 through 1, Silver 5 through 1, Gold 5 through 1, Platinum 5 through 1, Diamond 5 through 1, Masters, and then top 200 players in Challenger. In order to move from one division to another, a player must reach 100 LP in a division in order to then qualify for a promotion in which they must win either 2 of the next 3 games or 3 out of the next 5 games in order to get promoted. If you are successful, you move up a division. If you aren't, you don't. So that may have just sounded like a bunch of nonsense, but allow me to put things into perspective now. I have played League of Legends now for about 5 years, and over the course of those 5 years, I would say that my average LP gain and loss is about 18 LP. So when I win a game, I usually gain about 18 LP, and when I lose, I typically lose about 18 LP. With that rate in mind, it would hypothetically take me a bare minimum of 164 wins and 0 losses in order to go from Bronze 5 to Diamond 5. With the average game time being around 30 minutes, you can already begin to see just how much time and dedication is required to climb the ranked ladder. The process is long, it's exhausting, it's difficult, and it's not meant for everyone. Personally, looking back at all the time I invested in order to reach Challenger last season, I have 0 regrets. The wear and tear and setbacks were difficult without a doubt, but it was worth it in the long run for me. And who knows, you may find that it was for you as well. Before moving on, I think it is worth noting that the rank system will go through a rework in the following season, so this may not be as big as an issue in the future, but only time will tell. I think as I start to wrap things up, I should just quickly point out the obvious that the topics I addressed in this video are just a few of many. I could go on to talk about so many other factors such as queue times, mental strength, content creators, events, skins, champion diversity, game times, and so many more things. But instead, allow me to finally answer the question, should you play League of Legends? Without a doubt, my answer is yes. As much as I may have put down League throughout the entirety of this video, at the end of the day, it is still a fantastic game. It's a game that allows new players to learn while letting veteran players thrive. A game that encourages both standard and experimental gameplay, and above all, a game that never fails to be enjoyable, refreshing, and fun. So this goes out to every single person watching this video. To those who have never played before, to those who are addicted, to those who have quit or thought of quitting, play League of Legends. Tell your friends to play League of Legends. Tell your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, aunt, uncle, cousin, dog, neighbor, teacher, coworker, and anyone else that you can think of to play this game, and I guarantee you won't regret it. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the end of this video. I sincerely hope that you were able to enjoy this video and take something away from it in the process. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Each and every one of you is greatly appreciated, as it only further helps me grow my channel. Also, be sure to check out my merch store, follow my Twitter, check out the Discord, and my Patreon if you haven't already. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.